Hello and welcome to Quick Test Tuesday here on Sparkling Autos, and welcome to the brand new DECON Shampoo from AUTOBRITE Direct. So what actually is this DECON Shampoo? Well, let's pause it here and take a look at the back of the bottle and find out. Now obviously I'm not going to read the entire bottle, but basically this is a high strength shampoo designed to remove the remnants of any old waxes or sealants that might still be on the car and prepare the paintwork for new protection to be applied. Or alternatively, if you have a car with a ceramic coating on it, this is also designed to declog that coating and basically bring the water behaviour back to its best again. And one other important thing to point out before we move on is that this product is completely biodegradable, meaning you don't need to worry about it running into your drains. And as for the instructions themselves, well, it says to add between 30 and 50 ml of the product to a bucket of water depending on the soiling level of the vehicle. But there is an alternative way you can apply this, and that's via foam lance, and that's the way we're going to use it first of all. But before we even think about doing any of that, the car needs to be pre-washed and the wheels need to be cleaned. Now I'm not going to make you I'll wash it. I'm not going to make you watch that. I've already done the wheels. The car was then coated in the AUTOBRITE Direct Citrus Wash and blanketed with Magic Foam. So I'm just going to rinse that off now and we'll take a look at the bonnet. And in terms of protection then, you're looking at a 9-week-old application of AUTOBRITE's MJJC, which when I say 9 weeks, that's 9 long winter weeks, during which it's had quite a few hits of a strong traffic film remover to try and keep the car looking respectable without having to actually go out and wash it in the cold weather. But as you can see, it's seen better days, so perhaps this is the perfect time to test a product like this. So as I mentioned earlier, this product is also suitable to be applied via a foam lance. Now although it doesn't give dilutions on the bottle, AUTOBRITE recommend roughly a 10% dilution. So what I've gone with here is 450 ml of warm water, and I've added 50 ml of product. Now the only reason I use warm water when doing this is when you're working with a product with such a high viscosity like a shampoo, the warm water simply helps to thin the product out, therefore making it less likely to clog inside your foam lance. And just like you would with a snow foam, apply it evenly over the vehicle in any direction that you see fit. Now I'm going to allow that to dwell for around 5 minutes, but thanks to the wonders of modern technology, you don't have to wait that long, so let's just skip straight to it. So this is actually about 6 to 7 minutes later, and one thing I did observe is that it certainly doesn't have the dwelling part of its stablemate Magic Foam. You could actually apply that stuff, take the family to Spain for a week, come home and it would still be on the car. Then again, this isn't a snow foam, it's a shampoo. However, if you were going to use it as a type of pre-wash product, then I personally wouldn't leave it on the car for any more than 3 to 4 minutes, particularly when we're coming into the warmer months. But let's rinse it off and see what effect it's had, if any, on the protection underneath. Now I don't know if you'll agree with me or not, but I think looking at these images, it seems to have degraded the protection even further, which is exactly what I'm hoping for it to do in this case. Now if, on the other hand, you had a fairly recently applied ceramic coating, you would probably hope for the opposite effect. You'd want it to revive the coating. But if you stick around later in the video, I have something that touches on that very subject. For now though, what I'm going to do is use the rest of the product in the lance, coat the car and then go around with the contact wash. Now I know this method is controversial for some. I've mentioned before it's not one I'm particularly keen on doing, but I've already made up a 500 ml solution in the lance, so I might as well use it. And as for the bucket itself, well the instructions said between 30 to 50 ml depending on soiling, but what I want to do is obviously strip off the remainder of this protection, so I'm going to go in strong with the full recommended 50 ml dilution, and we'll see what effect that has. And for those of you unfamiliar with the channel, I like to use a lot of mitts when I'm washing my car. Out once again with the 600 litres per hour Ava P80. And granted there's 50 ml of product in there, but as you can see it produces plenty of suds. And although I've said before that just because a shampoo produces lots of suds doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be slick, I can assure you that in this instance, I'm not sure whose teeth these are, but they're definitely not mine. I can assure you that in this instance, that's definitely not the case. This is one of the slickest shampoos I've actually used for a long time. And the smell is absolutely incredible. Honestly, now regulars to the channel know that I'm not one for smells. I don't have a nose for them, and half the time I don't even notice them. but there's just something about this one. When I first opened the bottle, I thought it was great. When I used it through the lance, I thought it was even better, but when I actually foamed it up in the bucket, the smell is great. You could nearly drink this stuff. However, disclaimer alert, please don't drink this stuff. But back to the review in hand, and you'll notice here that I'm using what the manufacturers call the bug removing side of one of these sort of cheap wash mitts. These are absolutely perfect for doing the windscreen. Your windscreen's not going to be scratched with any sort of mitt. So you want something that's nice and abrasive there. There's no point using a soft brush or the softest mitt you have when it comes to your windscreen. You get dried on bugs on there and you really do need to go at them. You're not going to scratch your glass, you don't need to worry about it. And again, that's where a good shampoo can come into play. So something that claims to be as strong as this should actually help with that process. And another thing that I considered as I was carrying out the wash process in the cars, even ignoring the DECON shampoo element of it for a minute, just using it as a general shampoo, it's actually a really pleasant one to use. It smells great, it produces plenty of suds, and it's incredibly slick. So if this were a pure shampoo, it would be up there with some of the very best that I've used. However, we're not talking about a pure shampoo, we're talking about a DECON shampoo, and in order to earn its place on the shelf and do exactly what it says on the tin, it's going to have to do some decontamination. Now I've already seen when it was applied via foam lance that it did have some sort of degrading abilities on the bonnet, but for me to be really impressed with this product, I'm going to need a bit more than some degrading qualities. I want to see a lot more degradation, and then we can truly call this a DECON shampoo. So let's finish washing the car and then we'll get it rinsed off and see what it's done. So here we are then, the moment of truth. This is where we find out, is this just an ordinary shampoo or does it live up to the name of a DECON shampoo? Well, let's take a closer look at the bonnet and we'll find out. And as you can see here, there's no signs of any protection being left on the bonnet. The paintwork has been left completely flat. And looking at this, compared to how it was at the start of the video, I would say it's very much lived up to the expectation of cleansing the bodywork prior to any protection being applied. That's exactly what it claimed it was going to do, and that's exactly what it has done. And again, same story in the rear bumper. Any protection which was there has been wiped out and we've been left with a completely flat surface, ready to apply some fresh protection. However, that does still leave one question mark about the product, and that's about reviving ceramic coatings. Well, the only coating I have on this car is on the glass, and as you can see here, the protection on the glass has come back as good as ever. Now this glass protection is about 18 months old now, and if the water behaviour after using this shampoo is anything to go by, that's certainly a good indication of what this product might be able to do in that regard. And with all that being said, I guess that only really leaves one question. Well, there's absolutely no prizes being given out for guessing what way this one's going to go. As a shampoo alone, I found this product to be very enjoyable to use, but what it's actually done with the paintwork on the car, I've been more than impressed with. I genuinely wasn't sure if this was going to be any good or just a marketing ploy, but the product really has impressed me so far. And that, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, is all I have to say about that. If you've made it this far, as always, I really do appreciate your time, and if you have enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up. It really does help the channel going forward. Other than that, I've nothing else to say. I'd like to thank you very much for watching. I'll hopefully see you in the next one. Take care.